What's going on, my friends? Welcome on out to Behind the Energy podcast, where we dive into behind the scenes of DJing, entrepreneurship, and all the excitement in between. We got some friends, some cool people joining us, and a lot of fun stories. So without further ado, let's jump into Behind the Energy podcast. Yo, what is up, party people? We got Jordan from down south.
That's right, partner.
It's next episode of Behind the Energy podcast. I'm sitting here with J Baby Johnson.
That's me.
AKA DJ Scruffy. Jordan Johnson. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast, Behind the Energy. Jordan, thank you for being here.
Dude, I'm so freaking stoked.
You didn't have a choice, but that's
it's pretty much held against my will, but that's all right.
That's just how it goes. You look great.
I appreciate that.
That's a nice green.
Thank you.
I wanted to get you on here to reminisce and dive back into our friendship.
Okay.
And how that's intertwined into live entertainment, and as the company's grown. Introduce Jordan just a little bit. One of my day one homies that we connect on a number of different levels.
That's right.
Jordan, was it 2015 when we met?
Yes, sir. 2015.
2015? Just
graduated high school.
Okay. Before we go into the story, Jordan has been an awesome friend since 2015. As the years progressed and as the company has grown. Jordan was my day one homie and assistant with live entertainment. So when we do larger events, Jordan would come out and he'd own all the lighting, the song requests, and all that fun stuff. And he's almost been more hyped about a live entertainment and DJing than like even myself at times. So this is Jordan, and I wanted to take it back now to those early days and the excitement in between. So 2015 is when we met.
Mm-hmm.
Can you describe a little bit of like how things picked up in our friendship at that time? Yeah,
I think our friendship was one of those things that it was bound to happen at some point, and it needed to happen. The first time I was introduced to the Andreses, if you will. I was hanging out with Austin, your older brother, and Parker walks in and he goes, "Jordan Johnson, hello." I'm like, "Parker, hello." And it was really just from there. The beginning of our friendship consisted of Mountain Dew runs, skateboarding. Believe it or not, the cowboy look. I used to skateboard. Skateboarding and listening to Mac Miller. Mac Miller was one thing that we connected on, and that was really it, man. I mean, from there we worked at Lifetime together, and so days. We began seeing each other quite frequently. Pretty quickly. It wasn't one of those friendships that it was like, "Oh, grab your number, let's connect." It was like, "Oh, grab my number so I can send you dank memes later on tonight," when you're about to fall asleep.
We don't need to get into that, bro. If you know, you know.
And it's been all gas since the first time we hang out, and so I'd say that's just a little snippet of the beginning of that.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, it picked up quick. We connected on a number of levels very quickly, and Jordan's got some great energy about him. So if you don't know him, it's just very noticeable, and he was ecstatic about what we're doing DJ wise. And so when my brother, who was my right hand man at events, left for his mission, I needed a new assistant, and J Baby was right there. Do you remember the first event we DJ'd together, Jordan? At Alta?
Alta, yeah. It was Sweethearts 2016. Right there in, what was it, the common area, like the lunchroom area?
The old Alta.
Old one, yeah, before it was just recently remodeled.
Yeah.
But that was it, and I was super excited because I had heard of DJ Live before Parker and I were friends. So I kind of felt like I was hanging out with a celebrity almost. and then he helped me, or asked me to help him. Sorry. And so yeah, he put me on lights that night, and so I ran extension cords for power, and played with. We had the what would you call it? I just call it the light switches, but I was DJ Light Switch, as you will, that night, subbing in for Nick.
If you know, you know.
If you
baby.
know, you know. And it just blew up from there. And so that was the first event.
So it blew up. You started doing more events together.
Yep.
You become proficient. Like now, it's like we don't even need to say anything to each other.
Right.
We show up at the venue. Jordan attacks, I attack, and then an hour and a half, 2 hours later, we party.
Exactly.
And then the second we're done, we both attack, and then we're done.
Exactly.
Now that you've come to a number of events, Jordan, how would you describe your role with Team Alive, having that experience coming to events? Like what does that look like or entail, in your own words, to provide a little more context to the listeners behind the scenes of the events that we do together?
So, sorry if I'm hearing your question correctly, just kind of like what I'm doing.
Yeah, how would you
now?
describe your role, what you're doing? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Parker, I've been amped about DJ Live since the beginning. In fact, I used to carry business cards around in my pocket in my truck, and I'd give them to people. They'd be like, "Hey, I hear you DJ." I'm like, "Well, no, I don't DJ, but I know a DJ." And so then I'd be handing out business cards. I'd be selling services. And recently, just with branding changes, the business cards that I have are no
outdated.
good anymore. They're outdated. So that's the past tense. The reason for the past tense vocabulary there, but. I mean, now we're active on social media. We're active on Instagram, and so that's part of some of my responsibilities right now is putting together Instagram posts, working with Parker on that.
But at an event, what does that look like? Give me
at an event.
Yeah, give me a sliver. Real
at
quick.
An event. Oh,
yeah, give me a sliver.
Say no
more.
Aside
from breaking it down and dropping it low, Tatiana, busting it down. Give me what that looks like for you at an event real quick.
Okay, so picture this, right? You roll up to the event. You got the exterior, you got the trailer, you're at a high school, and it's immediately unloading that trailer, getting everything set up, doing, quick sound checks, lighting checks, making sure everything's ready to rock and roll. And then throughout the night, it's really just making sure that Parker or whoever is DJing that night is able to just be in their zone, do their thing. It's my responsibility to take the song requests. If people come up, they lost a phone or they found a phone and they want to turn it in, so we take care of that. If the administration at a school or the wedding planner at an event per se needs an announcement done or has questions, I usually try and let Parker handle that just so it's direct, there's no middleman, but my responsibility to facilitate either taking what they have to say or waiting for a good time where Parker's not in the zone and can facilitate whatever's going on. And so really just being the middleman. Security if we need it. I'm no small guy. I'm 6'2", 265 pounds, and so if we need security, I'm on it. But that's what I would say is just a snippet of my role with assisting in events.
You left out all the lighting though, bro.
Oh, our dope lighting.
Yeah, the lighting has progressed in the world of live. Yeah. We don't need to go to too much detail, but in combination with helping facilitate communication and taking requests and whatnot, Jordan's also helping manipulate the light show at these dances. So it is coordinated with the music. It helps build the atmosphere. In addition to your presence and dancing with me or the other DJ, that adds to the energy and the excitement. So I wanted to make sure we didn't leave that out.
Of course, we do it all on an iPad now. It's pretty sweet. No more, light switch bar or anything like that. It's all all digital, and we can do so many different variations. Honestly, it's been pretty cool to see, from the 2016 Sweethearts Dance at Alta to what it is now. I mean, it's progressed astronomically. So
it's maybe a fun side story. Like we'd literally flip switches on for light fixtures to turn on. It was not like intelligent lighting. And you get to know like the delay from turning the switch on to when the strobes go off. Like if it's 0.2, you know right before the drop comes on, you got to flip that on. Like
exactly.
That's how it was.
You knew you had to flip the mushrooms first and then the strobes and the light bars because the mushrooms had a little delay and you had to make sure everything was timed right.
Thank you.
It was a science.
Thank you. All the events we've done together, is there one that's been the most memorable? And if so, give me a little taste of that.
I'd say my most favorite event. What's hard is 9 times out of 10 the school dances are fun. I would say there's some technicalities of school dances that can make them more difficult than others, but most of the time, 9 times out of 10 those school dances are fun. But if I were to pick one, it was Hillcrest High School's prom. What year was that? That was 2016. Yeah, because I was right before I left on my church mission.
Wow.
2016 Hillcrest prom. It was at the big barn down at Thanksgiving Point. And I just remember being out there, and what's cool about that venue is that we had a stage. And so you kind of felt already pretty cool. You felt like Steve Aoki or like...
You're elevated. There's a different dynamic.
Exactly. Yeah. You felt like you're a celebrity, And so we were, it was awesome. And one thing about school dances is sometimes there's a lot of groups in school dances, friend groups dancing together, which is fine. No, I don't mean that in a judgmental way, but that's just the reality of it. Yeah. But this dance specifically was everybody was partying together. And right there at the end, Parker was like, he went on the mic and brought everybody to the front. Everybody came together, and I mean everybody. Like every single soul that was in that venue. Nobody was left out. And everybody came close together, and we were playing times 3 or 3 times. I can't remember the
3x.
3x, yeah. And right as that song drops, we blasted off some confetti cannons. Everybody was just partying like crazy. And the vibes were high, the energy was high. It was awesome. It was definitely the most memorable one. And I remember when we were breaking down all the equipment that night, we had dozens of people come up to us. Like, that was awesome. Easily the best dance. And later on, I went on a church mission for the church I go to. And when I was on this mission, some other missionaries that were there, we connected and found out that they went to high school at Hillcrest High School and were at that prom. And so we were able to talk about it. And they, again, that at that point, it was a year and a half later, they're like, that was my favorite school dance we've ever had. And I was like, that's sweet, and to be in a completely different realm of life and be able to relate back to that
state.
In a different state, it was definitely the most memorable dance I've ever. Well, the funnest one, I should say. We got some good ones, but that was the funnest one I'd ever done.
You're taking me back a little bit, dude. Seriously.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of a different energy at that time.
It was different. It was a lot different. But it was good energy. Nothing but good vibes.
Bangers only, baby.
That's right.
So Jordy, considering this is, I guess, a little bit of a similar question, but considering your history with Team Alive and working a number of events together, I don't even know it. I'd like to do the math one of these days, but try and figure out that number.
Yeah.
What's something that you have learned being a part of Team Alive that you don't think many party goers or guests would think of or know?
That's a good question. I mean, for starters, how to wind up an extension cord properly. That's probably
it's gonna keep coming up, bro.
And it's. I think it's okay. I wind up my rope when I cowboy. I wind up my rope the same way, and just because it releases better. And so I think that's been kind of essential and something of I don't know. You always have extension cords laying around, and they're either going to be a hot mess or they're going to be put up real nice. And so I'm glad to say, thanks to Parker, my extension cords in my garage are going to look real good. But
oh gosh,
I think another thing I've learned that, not necessarily guests understand, is what goes into the production of an event. Okay. I mean, I remember, and hopefully I'm answering your question. If not, let me know. But I remember going to school dances when I was in high school and just, oh man, Marcus Wing's got a lot of lights, because he was a popular DJ. I mean, still is, but as far as the high school I went to, he DJ'd a lot of our school dances, and I just remember seeing a lot of lights and things like that. I didn't really pay too much attention to it, other than it was blasting me in my eyes. But now, being on the other side of that, being setting up these lights, controlling them, hiding cables, things like that, to make it look good. It kind of makes me more analytical when I go to like concerts or things like that, because I'm looking at their trussing and what they've got set up, and I'm like, dang, what are they doing there? Like, come on, hide those cables. But no, I think the respect for large production events it's definitely increased and taught me throughout over these few years or many years, just what looks good, what doesn't, and how good it feels when your lights are all in sync and your cables are hidden and everything
runs smoothly.
Everything runs smoothly, exactly.
I think it's funny that you now have this like different perspective when you go to any like performance or show or whatever now. I feel like there's a lot that does happen behind the scenes, like what you're talking about, that many people are not aware of. And I feel like just this desire to like educate and share, like, the back end stuff, because yes, we're partying and we're dancing, we're having fun, but this very much is a business, and there's a lot of fine details that are in play and go into play to deliver these end results of a killer dance floor. When you're going to a party, you're expecting the result of all the work,
right?
That the energy, the killer music, the really rad production, and so I just have this like desire to like shed light on some behind the scenes, and so that's like also kind of an aim for this podcast too. Shed light on behind the scenes of what makes all these successful events happen. So
definitely,
Jordy, thanks for that, and hopefully you can process that in a way that makes much sense. I think as we dive into more episodes, people will be able to get a further grasp on that. But Jordy, I want to wrap up with one more question. You too, I mean, yes, you're a part of Team Alive. You're an entrepreneur yourself. I want to open it up a little bit more, not just like DJ specific, but entrepreneurship as a whole. Yeah. If you were to give advice to a young entrepreneur who has an idea or hasn't quite acted on it, is hesitant for whatever reason, what would that advice be? What would a little tip or suggestion you'd give to this entrepreneur be?
Definitely. I heard a quote a couple years ago, and it was, "You are the CEO of your own life. Hire and fire accordingly." And I full-heartedly believe in that. And I full-heartedly believe in the people that you surround yourself with will determine the success that you have. Dwayne Johnson says, if you focus on you, you grow. If you focus on shit grows. Excuse my language there, but that's just quoting there. And so you got to really focus on you, and no shame in that. No shame in being alone, working on yourself, working on your idea, because it just takes one idea to blast you off, into success. And so I would say, really, if I could pinpoint one thing, it's surround yourself with a good group of people.
Okay.
And feed off of their success, as well as project your success too, and be able to bounce ideas, work together, receive constructive criticism, because that's if we're not willing to change, then we're never going to be successful. We got to be willing to change. We got to be willing to be in the growth zone, not in the comfort zone. We want to be pushing that growth zone.
I like it.
And be willing to grow and change. And it all comes down to, being surrounded by successful people too. And I'm not talking, people who are entrepreneurs or who make a lot of money. It's just like positive thinking, motivated individuals, whether that be in the gym or be in business or be with, building relationships with family, people who project, positivity in their own lives is who you want to, surround yourself with.
To just reiterate, maybe teach back what I just think I heard.
Sure.
Surround yourself with people that motivate you or you want to be like, or push you to become your best self. And also, there's no shame in focusing on yourself.
Yeah.
And honing in on your skills and leaning into your passions. Did I get that right?
Absolutely.
I got it right?
Yeah. No,
okay.
totally.
Okay. I was trying to like bring that all together full circle.
Yeah,
little synopsis.
I kind of rambled a little bit there.
I ramble. I'm probably one of the best at rambling, unfortunately. So
yeah, no, you put it all together there.
Thank you. Well, that's just about a wrap. I wanted to get Jordy on here to dive behind the scenes of one of the people in my very close circle who has allowed Alive Entertainment to grow to where it is today over the past couple of years. Seriously, Jay, baby, you've been more hyped about DJ Alive and Alive Entertainment, Team Alive,
oh my goodness,
than a lot of people, and you've been there on many occasions when I needed an extra hand, and I just appreciate you, Jordy.
I got your back, Parker.
I can't wait to look back on this episode 5 or so years and see what we're doing now.
That's right.
Reflect on that.
That'll be dope, man.
DJ Scruffy, baby.
That's right, man. DJ Scruffy with a K.
That is a wrap, my friends. We got J Baby in the house, aka DJ Scruffy, Parker Andrews, DJ Alive. Catch you for next episode of Behind the Energy Podcast.